Are you thinking of moving abroad to the Western world, a place where most people think once you land in 5 hours, you will be rich? In fact, as soon as you get off the plane, there is a tree right around the airport. Just get out of the airport, look out, there's a tree yielding dollars, euros, pounds, name it, what have you. You can pluck it anytime. Abroad, the place where snow is so romantic and magical, and there's seasons, the winter, summer, fall, and spring. Meanwhile, there is somebody's cousin sleeping somewhere in Europe with five other friends, and he's sleeping on the couch. Please listen. If you are planning to leave Africa to the Western world, this video it's not to discourage you at all. In fact, travel is good. Traveling can change your life. It exposes you to the other world. I will encourage you to travel, but traveling without a purpose, traveling because you saw Kofi travel last year and came down back home and built a big mansion. So you also want to travel. Traveling under pressure, or traveling because you're seeing WhatsApp promises or what have you. So you're just traveling without a purpose. Traveling without knowing nobody abroad, that is dangerous. So today, let's talk about the real checklist you must have. Some of them, not all, but at least most of them, before you pack your baggage and japa. All right, let's get the ball rolling. First off, abroad is not a country. Just as Africa is not a country but a continent, but sometimes some people in the Western world also believe that Africa is one country. No, Africa is made up of a lots of countries. So same way, abroad is not one country. It has a lot of places. So when you say you're going abroad, where are you going? One thing that's very funny is that people just say, I'm going abroad or I'm traveling abroad. Where are you going? If you're going to Europe, are you going to London? Are you going to Liverpool? Which part of Europe are you going to? You need to know where you're going. Otherwise, you're going to be stranded at the airport, or even if you have not gotten your visa and you go for the interview, you're going to flunk it because they're going to ask you, where are you going? Before you pack your baggage and say, I'm traveling abroad, please do your research. Know where you're going to, which country you're going to. Is it America? Is it France? And then also know the languages that they speak over there, transportation, housing situation. Do your research, because if you don't, you're going to land at the airport, and then, for example, you land in Paris and then you find out, it's a French speaking country. You should know the languages spoken in the country you're going to so that you can start learning it or determine whether that country will be a good fit. Because if you do not understand the languages they're speaking, the question is, how are you going to communicate with them? Next point, please know where your travel agent is taking you to if you're using a travel agent, or if it's a family member or a friend, ask, where are you? Or travel agent, which country are we going? Which city? If it's in America, they have a lot of states. Which state? If it's in Europe, there's a lot of places. Which one am I going? Because if you don't ask these questions and you get into the plane and it takes off, that is it. You have no alliance, you have no means of talking to anybody. You'll be lucky to get some battery at the airport to speak to somebody once the plane alights. Please do all your research before you get to the airport and board the plane. Ask your travel agent, where are we going? Some travel agents are very good. Some are very dependable, but some too, they will push you under the bus. So please ask questions. You're the one paying for this trip. It is expensive. It is stressful. You know what you've been through. Apart from the excitement, excitement is one thing, but then there's the stress that comes with the cost, and you are bearing it. So if you don't know where you're going, then why do you travel? You should know the city, the weather, the cost of living, the type of visa, which is very, very important. Know what type of visa you have. Let's say the travel agent is telling you, oh, you're going to go there and then you can work. If you have, for example, a visitor's visa and you go to these Western world, they are very specific. They will treat you according to the type of visa that you have. So if you have a travel visa, you will not be allowed to work because there's some restrictions on the visitor's visa. So don't expect to get a visitor's visa and hope to work, or visitor's visa and hope to go to school. So if you're thinking of going to school, make sure that you have the student visa. So depending on why you're going and where you're going, make sure your documents are aligned. Otherwise, you're going to be stranded in the Western world. It is no joke. To add to that, also know how long your visa is. Is it a 1 month visa? Is it a 6 week visa? Know the length of time you're granted. So you can just say, oh, I've been given 2 years. Sometimes the visa will say it expires in 2 years. That is different from the amount of days you're allowed to stay. Please read the documents yourself, read it, make sure you understand the terms before you sign up for anything. Don't assume. The people in the West, they don't base their lives on assumptions. They are very specific. They will go according to your visa and according to why you're there. They're very strict. So please make sure you and your agent are on the same page before you pack your bag and say goodbye to the family. Okay? Moving on. Please make sure you check your passport very well, accurately. Make sure the name go to the very back or the front, wherever your name, your identity is, your photograph is. Make sure that your name matches whatever name is on the visa. Make sure that your name, the spelling matches your ticket as well. Make sure your name matches your date of birth. Take time to read. I know it's very exciting, hey, I'm traveling to Obodoyibo, I'm traveling to Abutre, and all that excitement. You just take the book, throw it somewhere, because if you're dealing with an agent, sometimes mistakes do happen. You may end up carrying, if you're Kofi, you may end up carrying Ame's book, and these are two totally different things. These are rare, but they're bound to happen, so you are responsible for your documents. Please make sure things match and also they are correctly spelled. If your name is Yakufi and it's supposed to be Yaakofi, and then you have your passport spelled correctly, but then your visa is Yaakofie, these are different. You need to make sure things tally. Or on your ticket, it is spelled correctly in your passport, but then on your ticket, the Y is Yaah, and then Kofi. The people in the Western world pay attention to details. Remember, they don't know you. You are here, they're meeting you up for the first time, so whatever you're telling them is whatever they're looking at. So they'll look at your documents. If things are off, even if your date of birth is off, they will tell you you are not the one. These are some of the little things that most Africans traveling, especially first-time travelers, they overlook, and then they get to the airport, they're stranded, or they get to the immigration center or office, and then they are held or maybe returned on the next flight. These are some of the things. So pay attention to details and make sure things are aligned well. Also bear in mind that what immigration officers look at, they're not there to interview you. They're just making sure things are in alignment, like I said. So they're looking at your date of birth, the expiration date of the passport. This is very important, but sometimes people miss it. If your passport is due to expire within 2 months and then your visa is for 6 months, the visa cannot be active and then the passport is expiring. So my honest advice, recommendation, if your passport is less than 3 years away for expiration date, just go ahead and get you a new passport to avoid all this hassle. Just get a new passport before you get a visa. They'll make sure things are spelled correctly and all that. Just make sure you say this is who you are, and in fact, this is who you really are. That's all they're doing. And then also remember, at the airport, there are like 5,000 people there. It's not just you. So the quicker you go and then the smoother you're able to answer their questions, the better for you. Otherwise, if you go and you're not able to prove things and then you become suspicious, they are going to hold you there. You might lose your flight. You have to just make sure you're prepared. make sure your passport is packed in your hand luggage. This is the little bag that you carry on the plane, and you don't put your passport in the luggage that is going to go in the cargo. That will be a disaster. All these things, make sure you check them before you go to the airport, not on the day of travel. That will be too late. Right, moving on. Know the cost, the total cost of your travel. What do I mean by that? Not just the cost the travel agent is charging you. That could be just the travel agent cost. You should know you're gonna need money for upkeep. If you're going abroad, especially if you're going to Europe or France or Australia, Germany, wherever, America, know which part you're going, because it snows over there, and that snow, that beautiful white thing, is very cold. You're going to be very cold, especially in the winter months. If you happen to be traveling in the summer months, that's fine, but just know that if you will be there for a long time, especially if you're going to be an immigrant, going to stay there for months, winter time will come. So make sure you get you at least one winter jacket. Get it before you go. Have enough money for some transportation, for Uber, with the current rising cost of things, with this current inflation, and in the world, things are expensive. So make sure you have enough money for the travel, aside agent fees and money for passport, visa, and plane tickets. You are going to need some pocket money. Make sure you have enough money to last you for at least 3 months. So the best advice or recommendation that I will give, if you know somebody living abroad, especially the one who is ready to host you, talk to them about cost. See if they're willing to help you. If not, make sure you get some money, whether you have to borrow, just organize some money, raise some funds, because you're going to need it. You're going to need some money to buy food, get you some house rent. Know that in abroad they pay rent. For the most part, rent is paid on a monthly basis, if not bi-weekly. So it goes that fast. Get some money for some bills, some Uber, some money to buy food. I know most Africans, especially those of us from the West, when we're coming, we'll have our gari and our fried fish and all that. If you have to travel with those, just wrap them very well. Wrap them very good so that you're not smearing into your clothes or stinking all over the place, because all that could delay you with immigration and customs. They will delay you and you might lose your flight. So just make sure things are on point. Organize them well. I was watching a video on YouTube. Somebody has packed like live snails and crabs. You don't need all that. Just get you something simple. Maybe gari is fine, something dry, not too much, not too heavy, because your luggage has limits. It's usually 50 pounds for the one that it's going under the cargo for the plane, and then your carry-on is very light. So you don't need a lot of stuff. So don't buy too much, because when it's too much and too heavy and it's overweight, Western world, they don't take bribes. They will ask you to offload it, to trash them. You'll be lucky to have this happen in your home country, so that maybe if you have a brother, you can give it back to them. But if you're not, if nobody's there with you and it's just you, just have no option but to trash them. So please pack accordingly. Just do your research. If you don't know, please ask. Also bear in mind, depending on which time of the season you're traveling abroad, if it's summer, it's fine. If it's summer, it's the same weather as we have in back home in Africa. Those are people in South Africa. I think it snows in some part of Africa, like South Africa, but so they know how winter is. But for the most part, those of us from the west and eastern part, it doesn't usually snow, so we have no idea unless you have travel experience. But if it's usually your first time, dress accordingly. Ask or do your research about the winter months, the summer months, fall months, and know how to dress. Because if you don't dress well and you come in the winter months, you will cry. In fact, that winter will hit you so bad, it is cold. You will cry. You cannot even get out to, you can't step outside. It is cold. So please dress accordingly. Different strokes, different people. Some people can come to abroad and then within days, few days to weeks, they already get a job going for them. Some people too, it takes months, it takes years, it takes longer. It all depends on your geographical location, who is helping you, the type of visa you have, lots of factors. And then immigration rules in whichever country you're going. So just bear in mind that you come in does not guarantee that tomorrow you're going to get a job to do. So don't overinflate your cost. And don't just borrow too much money thinking, oh, once I land abroad, by tomorrow, I'll get work and then I'm rich. No, it takes time. If you're lucky to start getting things going in a year, that will be a miracle. Give yourself at least 2, 3, 4 years plus. Okay, moving on. Airport expectations. This is something that most first-time travelers. Please plan on getting to the airport on time. If the plane is scheduled to leave at 10 p.m., give yourself 3 hours prior to departure. Because 10 p.m. flight does not mean that 10 p.m. we're boarding. No, it means 10 p.m. the plane is on the runway and is about to take off. So if you live very far away, most of us don't drive. So if you're coming very, very far away, I will recommend or advise, I'll recommend or advise get to the airport city a day before so that you're not rushing too much, stuck in traffic and all that stuff. So organize yourself well, find somebody who lives in the airport area, hang out. If you don't find anybody, you can get a hotel so that you don't miss your flight. Because mind you, there are like 5,000 people in the airport and everybody is trying to get to their flight. So the earlier you come to the airport and then pack your baggages well, dress well, have your passport ready, check all the things that we've talked about, the better for you. Things will go smoothly. Expect them to ask you one or two things, especially if you're a first-time traveler. Immigration officers will ask you a few questions. Just remain calm. Just tell them the truth and tell them what you know according to where you're going. For example, if an immigration officer should ask you, where are you going? Which country? Don't just say, I'm going abroad or I'm going Europe. Where? What? I'm going to maybe New York City in America, for example. And then they might ask, whom are you visiting? I mean, it's rare, but sometimes they ask, whom are you visiting? You should know who you are visiting or who is hosting you. You cannot just say, oh, I have my one uncle there who is going to. What is your uncle's name? Say I'm visiting with my uncle, Mr. Brown. And Mr. Brown lives in New York City, and then you probably have his address, make sure it's written somewhere close to you in your pocket, very close, so you can just show it to them. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't really care, but you have to prove that you know where you're going. You cannot stand there and start looking in the skies. You become suspicious, and they'll be like, you don't even know where you're going? So before you travel, make sure you have all these in place. Please make sure you know somebody overseas wherever you're going, because if you don't, that is one other disaster. You will be stranded. Abroad is not a place like in Africa. You're walking outside, you meet anybody, you can ask people questions and then they'll help you. No, the culture is very solo. If you don't know anybody, you will be stranded. So make sure you have somebody you know, and that person, willing underlined, willing in capital letters, that person is willing to host you. Another thing that you should get on your checklist is have someone you trust. Someone, like I said, willing to host you. Because once you get there, especially if you're a first time or you're an immigrant, you are going to need guidance. You need somebody to hold your hand and show you around, teach you the do's and don'ts, show you the culture, show you the expectations. If you need to get a job, you need somebody to give you information about the city, what this means, what this does, to help, because you are moving from a totally different one world to a totally new world, and things can be very stressful. Even the language, even if you can speak English, and let's say you're going to Europe or England, once you start speaking, sometimes they call us, you have an accent, to tell you have an accent, and they probably don't understand what you're saying. But if you have somebody who lives in Europe who already has picked the accent, they can help you talk to them, because you need time to learn all these things. You need time to learn the slangs. If you're in America, you need time to learn the slang and the accent and pick certain culture up. And it takes time. So if you have somebody who is ahead of you, just be humble enough. Sometimes
Some
people are
unteachable.
unteachable. You have to be humble. Be humble enough so they can teach you, because these people have been there for at least a year, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, what have you. So they know more. They know a lot. So please humble yourself, learn more, and it will help you. At the end of the day, you're going to benefit. So just humble yourself and learn, okay? Like I said, the beginning stages, things are going to feel very, very overwhelming. So knowing somebody there, like a real person to guide you, is a lifesaver. It is a lifesaver. And also expect to be lonely. I mean, in abroad, like I said previously, the culture is very solo. People keep to themselves, and that's okay. That's who they are. In Africa, we're used to community and all that stuff. Just expect to be lonely. They're not. It's just who they are, and it's just what the culture is. If you don't know anything, that's why it's good to have a buddy, somebody who is willing to host you, so they can walk you through things and give you an orientation, if I may say, to the place. You will need support, especially if you're a first time traveler, a first time immigrant. If you don't know anybody and you're going like a student program or whatever the case may be, make sure that your accommodation is set, accommodation is confirmed before you leave your home country. Otherwise, you're going to be stranded, and it is no joke. Don't expect vibes to just provide you housing, like how we see on WhatsApp and all these social media. Most of these things are just to create vibes. But the real thing, the reality is a confirmed housing if you don't have somebody who would to host you. Next thing on the list is the food, and then the culture shock. Like I said, the culture is very solo, so that's fine. That's how they do their things. You're going to see differences in behavior, how they talk to their children, will be different from how you're used to be, how we're used to back home. You know, you're going to go back home, hey, and then here they're going to be, oh, honey, that's okay. You know, things are going different. That's okay. It's just different culture. There's nothing wrong with it. With time, you will get used to it, and then you find your balance. Once you arrive, you're going to see that food is different. Most foods are not fresh like back home. Most of the foods are processed. They have fast food and all that. So that will shock you. Things are different, like I said. So it's good to learn how to cook, especially our men. And I'm going to be very respectful to our African men. Please, please, please. I am not against you in any way, but just know that if you're traveling abroad, please learn how to cook. Our culture is not used to teaching men how to cook. Even if you're married and you're moving here abroad with your wife, learn how to cook, because there will come a time that your wife will have to go to work and you come home and there's no food. You still have to learn how to cook. So learn something simple things like rice and stew, eggs, and learn simple things. Beg your mother or your sisters back home in Africa to teach you if you ever have the intention of traveling abroad and living abroad. It will save your life. Even if you're going to use rice cooker, it's not pre-done. You have to wash it. There's certain steps before you can cook it. The rice cooker doesn't cook itself. Just you have to wash the rice and put it in the rice cooker before it will start doing anything. So please, please, please give your and learn how to cook before you leave the continent. And in abroad, time matters. So everybody's busy. People don't have time for you. So if you learn how to cook, it will save your life. Some men are living on fast foods and some cereals for months. So if you don't know how to cook, it will hit you hard. So please take time to learn how to cook before you leave the continent. Otherwise, well, thank God, because of social media, you can Google things and learn it. But the best is to learn it in person. Okay. To bear in mind, another thing to bear in mind is the social media versus the reality type of vibe. What we see on social media is totally different from reality. Social media, you see the vibes, nice cars, nice houses, nice summer, parties and what have you. But what you don't see on social media behind the scenes is reality, chasing time, stress, depression, people working multiple jobs, bills flying over their heads, the stress, the loneliness, all that also exists. But we usually don't see that in social media. Some immigrants feel exhausted, while living abroad. So don't you travel because you've seen so and so travel and made it. and they've come to build this house or they came with a car. You don't know how they did it. You don't know. So don't travel because of pressure or envy or anything. Travel because you have a plan. And don't let anybody intimidate you if you haven't traveled and you're back home that you're behind. Life is not a race. If by God's grace your time is up for you to travel, of course, travel with the documents, with the right mentality, but don't just travel out of nowhere because you feel like you have to travel without any plan. That's not a good, okay? Also, if you have the intention of traveling abroad for school, whether you're an immigrant or be it coming as a student, make sure you contact your local schools in Africa, the respective countries, before you travel. Don't just go, oh, once I get there, I will send somebody. You know how things run back home. Things take time and slow. In abroad, they move with time. So if they say bring it in 1 week, it has to be in 1 week. So my honest advice: gather all your documents, get your transcripts ready. Make sure they're in line with what you want to do. You have the correct transcripts so that if there's any error, you can fix it before you go. Gather all your travel documents. Make sure your visa sets student visa, and also know that not every student visa allows you to work. Depending on the type of visa, there could be restrictions, like I already said. Some student visas allow students only to work within the four walls of the school. So talk with your agent if you're using an agent, or if you have access to the school, call them and ask what are the foreign students, what are the do's and don'ts, what are their requirements. Ask questions before you get on the plane. And if those answers does not favor you, then maybe you may have to rethink about the travel. Because the last thing you want to do is to travel and be stranded, especially if you don't know anybody. That is the worst. Also, in addition to the school documents, get your immunization records. And also bear in mind that depending on the country that you're going to, some of these foreign schools require you to evaluate your transcripts through some agencies. So all that takes time. So gather the documents as much as you can. If you ever have to get an official transcript from the school for you to bring us in person, make sure they seal it in an envelope with the school seal on it, stamped and signed, so that when you get to wherever you're going in the Western world, you can just mail it to the school, and that's also considered valid. What they don't want is your own copy of the transcript that you folded in an envelope. It has to come from a sealed envelope from the school. Another point that I'd like to share: immigrants have to learn how to drive. Right now, I know the world is changing. Most Africans are driving, but for the most part, too, some are not used to driving. So if you come from the group of people that did not drive back home, then you have the opportunity to come and work or study or live abroad for a longer time. You will need to learn how to drive. You will find quickly that when you get to abroad, transportation system is different. If you're in the big cities, you decide to not worry about driving, like New York cities. They have they have buses, or in London, they have London buses. They have the subways, which are the trains that run underground. So you may probably not have to worry about it. But if you are in the outskirts or in small towns or small cities that the buses are not that frequent, you may need to learn how to drive. So learning how to drive back home before you come, it's going to save your life. You will thank you for doing that. So if you have any moving abroad, living long term, especially if you're going to be an immigrant with the right documents, please learn how to drive to help you a lot, because these days, again, with the inflation going on, Uber is very expensive. It is expensive. So don't tell yourself you're going to Uber yourself to places. It can be expensive. That will eat your pocket money quick. So please learn how to drive. It will save you the whole hassle. And also expect once you come, wherever you're going, the road signs may be a little different. Just again, take time to learn things. Have your host show you around, oriented you, teach things. Learn, humble yourself and learn. The more you learn, the better for you. You will save your police or law enforcement for you breaking rules. So learn and have your host teach you. Okay. Also expect some changes in your sleep patterns. If you arrive, let's say you arrive today, know that when you're coming from Africa, it was probably daylight there and now it's night. So this your circadian rhythm is going to change. That's okay. Expect that. There's nothing wrong with that. It will take time for your body to adjust to the new world that you are in. If you remember, if you're back home when you had to call an auntie or somewhere abroad, they'll say, "Oh, it is nighttime. We're sleeping." They give you times, and that it's not that you're being bossy or anything. It's just the way things are. If it's daytime, for the most part, it's probably nighttime in abroad, so it's going to affect sleep. Give your body time to adjust. Also, remember, you may have to work night shifts, and that can also affect your sleep patterns. Like I said, abroad is kind of a solo culture. Even if you have a roommate or the person hosting you, you may find out that you work night shift and work day shift. You may not meet each other. That's okay. It's just the way the system is. Also expect in the summer months, there is longer days and shorter nights. So sometimes at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., or even 9 p.m., it's still sunshine. Sun is still there. Sun shines at 7, 8, probably doesn't set until after 9 p.m. Yes, believe it or not, yes. And then in the winter months, it's longer nights and shorter days. So at 7 a.m., it will still be dark. 7 in the morning, it will still be dark. And then by 4:30, 5 p.m. is already dark. So just expect all these things so that you're not in total shock. Okay, I hope this helps. Last but not the least, let's talk about routes. Please, 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 illegal routes. This is very serious. I have watched some documentaries online and read some books and stories that most immigrants, especially first-time immigrants, have tried or attempted to travel to the Western world on land or by sea, and they never made it. They thought they were going to make it because some agent somewhere told them they were, or somebody was trying to help them said it was possible. Or they've heard somebody that tried it and made it. Please, please, please be careful of the routes. I mean, how can you travel to, let's say, America on land? When you get to the oceans and seas, how are you going to do it? By sea? And sometimes they don't even have a good ship or a safe ship for you to get in. They'll say, oh, they'll use boats. They'll walk on the desert, and then when you get to the seas, you're going to use boats. The question is, will you even survive the desert? Remember, the desert is a dry land. It is hot. There's no water. Ask yourself, are you going to make it? If somebody said you're going to take you by land, please question it. Question it. Do your research. It is dangerous. Question it. You'll be lucky to survive the desert, let alone survive the sea or water. What if there's some sharks in the water, or the boat or whatever? You're going to lose your life. So please be careful. Some have lost documents, money, even their lives, trying to use illegal routes that they have no idea. Some have been trafficked, some girls have been raped. So please do your due diligence, do your research. So know that not every route is safe. Some people have been on their way on the land, they've been abandoned, they've been left halfway. You'll be lucky to arrive with some body injuries. Some have come in. The story that I heard, I think somebody they traveled, I think it was this cold. They got to a region, it was too cold. They have all these frost bites. They ended up losing their limbs. So your life matters. That's why I'm bringing this point up. Please do your due diligence and research. Your life matters. It is good to travel, like I said, but make sure you have done your due research and you know where you're going and how you are going. This matters. And most importantly, think about your family back home. If anything happens to you, what's going to happen to your parents or your siblings, the people that you want to sacrifice for? They cannot bear to hear you that you have lost your life or lost part of your body. If you lose part of your limb, how are you going to work once you make it to abroad? And healthcare is very expensive. So please, let's be careful. So please don't let desperation push you through dangerous situations. Your life matters. Your life is very important. Okay, so travel smart, travel legally, travel informed, and travel wisely. Travel prepared too. So it's a good thing. It can open doors, it can change generations, it can change destinies, but preparation matters. Research matters, document matters, mental preparedness matters. Money matters, and most importantly, where you're going, not just I want to leave because Kwame left or Kofi left. You have to have a purpose. And to be real, if you're already living abroad, what are one or two things that you wish you knew before you left the continent? And if you're planning on leaving the continent to the Western world, what one or two things in this video has helped you? Okay, all right. And if this video has helped you, please subscribe, like, share this video for real life gist talks. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and God bless.